Okay, what's up guys? This is Sim Stuck with another 10th math video. It is February, I believe it's the 11th of 2013. We're going to be doing equations of circles because I have recently found the secret stash of the overseer's notes. And I know what we're going to be doing next week, or at least I have a general idea of what we're going to be doing next week. So I know that after this unit, right after we learn about centroids, we're doing circles. So let's do circles! Now, I am pretty bad at drawing circles, but maybe the coordinate grid will help me. Now let's switch to a top layer, and I'll give you the general form of a circle centered at the radius here. If you have a circle and its center is going to be at the origin, then I believe that the equation for a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Now, what is this? The x just stands for the origin, it's centered at the origin, y centered at the origin, and then the r squared here is what's important. This is the radius. R is the radius. So what if r squared here, if we had an equation like x squared plus y squared equals 25, and they asked you to graph that, this right here is r squared. So if r squared equals 25, take the square root of both sides, r is 5. So your radius is going to be exactly 5 units long. And we graph that kind of like that. And that has an exact radius of 5. Cool. But most cases, you're not going to have a circle centered at the origin. It's going to be centered at some other point. So, well, I'll give you the other form for a circle, the standard form, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. Now, what does this mean? What is the minus a and the minus b? Well, it can be plus a or plus b. Doesn't really matter. Really, I could say plus minus. I mean, you could do either or, but if it's minus a, that means whatever the a number is, it's going to be a positive coordinate. So it's kind of like an opposite. You'll see what I mean when I do some examples soon. And if it's a x plus a, then we're going to go in a negative coordinate direction, whatever a is. So let's say I gave you x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals, let's say 16, and I ask you to graph that for me. Well, let's look at the plus a here. It's plus 1, right? So everything's going to be kind of opposite. So our x-coordinate is actually not going to be positive 1, it's going to be negative 1. It's the opposite. So your a is kind of like what your x-coordinate is going to be. And right here, your b, it's minus 2. So we're actually going to have a y-coordinate of positive 2. And what is this coordinate? This is the center of the circle in question. So here's negative 1, 2, and that's going to be the center to our circle. And our radius is going to be just the square root of 16, right? Because 16 equals r squared, and solve for r. So we know that the radius is 4. So if we do our circles, right, that is the graph of the thing I just gave you. And what is that? That is x plus 1 squared minus plus y minus 2 squared equals 16. Now, you may have noticed that you can expand all of these, and you can. This is the kind of like the radius form of a circle, or a circle radius form, or it's called the standard form, but there's also the general form for the circle, and that is commonly written like this: x squared plus y squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. And this is kind of what you're going to get when you expand the general x plus a squared plus y plus b squared equals r squared. That's kind of what you're going to get. Actually, this should be r squared. And so I'm going to give you, sometimes they might give you something in this general form, and what they want you to do is they want you to bring it back to this standard form so that you can graph it easier, because it's not easy to look at this and graph from here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to give you a random problem. So here we are, we have an equation that I have given you: x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 6y plus 8 equals 0. And by the way, when I said this could also be r squared, my mistake. The general form is 0, not r squared. So let's try this out. First, you want to get your x terms and your y terms together. So x squared minus 4x plus y squared minus 6y plus 8 equals 0. And now we're going to do kind of a double complete the square kind of thing, because you know that this is a square, perfect square, and this is a perfect square. So if we want the r squared, I mean, this is a perfect complete the square problem. So let's try that completing the square thing. So if we leave some space here, 4x and then plus y squared minus 6y, and then leave some space and bring negative, wait, was it minus 8 here? I believe this was minus 8, but I'll probably be corrected as we go along this problem. But I believe this was minus 8, that's my bad, my typo. But we bring everything bunched together and we leave some space to complete the square, and we always bring that constant on the right side. That's how we complete the square. We start to. So now what we do is we take our C and D coefficients, our terms before the x and the y, and we just do the normal completing the square procedure. For negative 4, halve it and then square it. So it's going to be negative 4x plus 4, right? Because negative 4, halve it, negative 2, square it, plus 4. Plus y squared minus 6y plus 9, right? And it's 8 plus all of this, which is 13. And that is 21. 21, because plus 4 plus 9, and we got to do it to this side too. So that's plus 13, 21. And let's take these individually now. Let's take this, and let's take this, and let's factor them into workable squares. What's that going to be? That's x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 21. Actually, I think -8 was the right thing to do. Can't even turn away now. It doesn't really matter, even if the radius isn't going to be perfect. We can estimate. And now we have our standard form, right? It's x plus a, y plus b. And so what's the origin of this circle? What's the center of this circle going to be? That's 2, 3, right? -2, and the x-coordinate is going to be +2, the opposite of that, and then 3. So 2, 3, and the radius, r squared equals 21. It's going to be the square root of 21. If we estimate that, that's between 4 and 5. So let's say when we graph it, let's make it around the numbers 4 and 5, so 4.5. So our origin is I gotta stop saying origin. Our center of our circle is 2, 3, and our radius is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5. So somewhere around there. And that is the graph of that circle that we did earlier. What is that? That is this right here. Cool.